Are you ready to lead with impact? Well, friend, you're in the right place. Today, you can join Carol Fairman and Dr. Guy Henry as they begin exploring what it means to lead with impact. So, pull up a chair, grab your coffee, a pen and paper, and get ready to have some deep conversations with Carol and Guy as they walk you through what it means to lead with impact. Welcome back to Lead with Impact. I'm Carol Fairman, and as always, I'm joined by my co host, Dr. Guy Henry. Today, we're diving into a topic that's at the heart of great leadership: coaching for growth. Think about this: great leaders aren't just decision makers, they're developers of people. Coaching isn't about having all the answers. Lord knows it's not about having all the answers, but it is about asking the right questions and helping others discover their own path forward. So, today we're going to explore some practical coaching strategies that can help you lead more effectively, whether it's guiding your team, mentoring someone one on one, or even developing yourself in the process. Dr. Guy Henry, let's jump in. Why is coaching such a game changer for leadership?
Well, that's a great point. First of all, Carol, coaching isn't just about fixing problems, although it includes it, right? It's really about unlocking potential in other people. I think too often leaders or those in any kind of an influential role tend to think their job is to go and give directions. And maybe there was a season for that, maybe 2 decades ago, right? But real leadership really happens, number one, when you ask the right questions
Mhm.
and or provide guidance for other people, and then ultimately helping people grow in their strengths rather than showing what my strength is as the leader, helping others develop their strengths. And I hope we get into that a little bit today, just kind of some breaking down some of those practical coaching strategies. I know we're using that term, but let's keep in mind that coaching is part of leadership. And when we're leading a team or whether we're mentoring someone, or maybe even just looking to see if we can improve how we develop those people around us, right? And so that's all part of that coaching for growth.
Absolutely. Let's start with a simple but powerful coaching framework, the GROW model, and how it can help you have more meaningful and productive conversations. Number one, the GROW model is one of my favorite frameworks. This simple yet powerful approach helps leaders guide their team members through problem solving and goal setting in a way that's clear and actionable with the use of an acronym: grow. So let's surprise. So grow. So the G stands for goal. And what is it that you want to achieve? That R stands for the reality. Where are we right now? That O stands for options. What could you do? That W stands for will. What will you commit to? So, for
Mhm.
example, if you have an employee that's struggling with time management, instead of saying, Susie, you need to manage your time better, you can guide them through the GROW model. What is your goal for the week? What's getting in the way of you meeting that goal? Another one is, what options do you have to improve? See, this turns a general statement into a targeted, actionable conversation that fosters growth. See, coaching isn't just for performance reviews, by the way, because we're all used to it in that respect. But let's make it a habit. Schedule that one-on-one opportunity where you can discuss your personal growth, not just work performance, your personal growth, their personal growth. I want to add a little side note here. When I do my performance evaluations with my staff, I have them evaluate me as their leader. What can I do better to equip them? And what am I
Mhm.
expecting them to do that I don't see happening? See, this way we're building a plan together where I'm coaching them and really they're coaching me, right? But again, it's that personal growth opportunity. It's not just about work performance. So let's focus on what skills you can develop, what challenges they need to overcome. And this is going to create that ongoing dialogue focused on growth rather than correction. And so I'm going to
Hmm.
pass it off to Dr. Guy to talk about that second one.
Okay, well, yeah, let me just go back a little bit just to kind of focus on that word
Yes.
grow, right? That
Yes.
acronym. If we could keep that somehow in our minds as we're coaching, that what is that goal? And in fact, we have a couple of podcasts around that topic goal. So I would
Yes.
I would have you, look at that because if we can get on a common ground of what it is we want to achieve, that's our goal, and we're doing that together. And so, and then what's the reality of it? But not only where are we now, what's the reality of achieving that goal and what are our options for making that happen? And then W, we say that stands for will, but we have to be involved. We have to be
Yes.
willing. We have to be intentional. We have to put our will towards it. So just kind of, we kind of go over that grow model quickly, but again, our time is always short. But we have to
Right.
keep in mind, we want to be leaders that strengthen other people, right? And
Absolutely.
that strength-based leadership is not about focusing on fixing people's weaknesses, but rather recognizing that we all have strengths. Let's focus on those strengths because everyone has strengths. We know by default if we have a strength, then we all have a weakness. And sometimes when we're influencing people, we tend to look at their weaknesses from our growth perspective or our strengths perspective. And so all that does is broaden the gap. Let's look at them from their strengths and recognize that because there's a weakness, there has to be an opposing strength.
That's
So
an
when we
interesting
see
thought.
that strength, let's not magnify it, but rather let's look at what that weakness may reflect as that person's strength.
That's that's so so good. I had the privilege to do a letter of reference to a previous employee that was applying for a position. And there
Hmm.
was a question that said, what is their strength? What is their weakness? I had a hard time finding a weakness because we live in this model in our ministry, and
Hmm.
really, I found myself almost correcting their request, because I had a hard time really putting something on that paper because this,
Hmm.
and so I just said this person is always, growing and seeking. So pointing out that we all have areas to grow in, I had a really hard time answering that question as her boss
Hmm.
because we look at people through their strengths
It's kind
and
of a
then
wrong focus in that sense.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so I had a really hard time about, answering that question. Anyway, back to you. Didn't
Hmm.
mean to interrupt, but I just was thinking
Well,
how
yeah,
important
but
that
if you think
is.
about it, if we can, as influencers of any kind, if we can help people operate in their strengths, then they're going to be more engaged, they're going to be more productive, they're going to be more likely to seek self-growth. And so it's about creating an environment where everyone can kind of shine in their unique way. Everybody, we all kind of want to have our spotlight, but we all get that if we're coaching for growth and allowing
Right.
people to express their strengths.
Exactly. That's so good. That just makes me a good leader
That's
because
right.
I'm I'm recognizing my team members' strength, right? Because I want them to harness their abilities. I want to boost their confidence, that productivity that you were just speaking about.
Mhm.
It's such a simple way to lead. It's so easy. And sometimes
Yeah.
we just overcomplicate things, but really it
Mhm.
doesn't need to be. And you're fostering this beautiful, positive environment that's really going to drive the results that we're looking for in our business, in our home, right?
Mhm.
You want your kids
Mhm.
to clean their bedroom, right? There are all kinds of things, it's not just that executive behind the desk. It's motivating the kids to eat the broccoli, to keep their room clean, or show up to class on time, whatever it is. But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
helping people operate in their strengths is going to keep them encouraged, keep them more productive, just like you said. So
Hmm.
just
If you
powerful
think
stuff
about it,
there.
real real coaching or even leadership, if we just use that almost as interchangeable, real coaching, real leadership really happens in the middle of what we're doing, in the
Right.
midst of the work. It could be after a meeting, it's just kind of impromptu. Here's a
Right.
learning opportunity, right? Or maybe we're working together on a project and we can see how we can emphasize the strengths of our
Right.
of our coworker or even subordinate. And sometimes even in those casual conversations, I have found we don't have to lead with that driving force. We can just that
Right.
conversation is an opportunity to just help people be encouraged in what they have to do. That way we can take that coaching opportunity anytime along the way. We don't have to have that
Right.
specific leader hat on.
I love it. I love it. Which leads us to that final point of coaching in the moment, right? It's
Yeah.
so important to take those opportunities when you're in the middle of it, like you were saying. It's a
Mm,
great strategy, and it doesn't require a formal session, right? Where Susie
mm.
report to my office immediately, or Bill,
Right, right,
family
yeah.
meeting. No, it's you're helping them in the moment, real time, in the middle of the work, just like you were saying. And so it's just so powerful to integrate that coaching. Um, into opportunities to ask questions, to get that information so that
Hmm.
we can interact. Because like you said, every single moment is an opportunity for growth as a leader, and it's our job to seize the moment, seize that
Hmm.
opportunity when we see it.
And I
um
think I like the whole concept of coaching in leadership in the sense that questions are so powerful. We
yes.
can we can lead a conversation, we can influence somebody simply by asking them the right question.
Yes.
It's so much less demeaning, if that's the right word. We're not
Yeah.
making them feel smaller. We're actually lifting them up by asking the question. And when we learn how to ask those questions, we're coaching. But we're
Right.
we're not doing it, with that powerful hammer in the hand kind of a thing. That creates better teamworks, right?
I agree. I feel a
Yeah.
new episode coming on, Dr. Guy, where we can explore, right, the types of questions to ask, because
Hmm.
we don't want them with short answers, yes and no. We want open-ended questions, right? So it's
Right,
really
right.
important. We're telling you here as to use those questions as coaching, but we need to be a little more specific. How was your day? Or yes, it was good.
Right.
Those things just whoo, they're not going to
Yeah.
do that. But when we
Yeah.
really ask those questions that are, what are your thoughts on shifting to this schedule, or what would
Hmm.
you do differently? Like those kinds of questions are going to help them reflect on where they are in the moment, what those better choices are. So don't just
Hmm.
ask closed questions. Really use
Right,
this
right.
again as an opportunity to nurture that relationship by asking those open-ended questions. So
Hmm.
we're really going to need to have a chat
Uh,
about that,
uh, uh,
Dr. Guy, on
yeah,
some of our
maybe. Right,
favorite
right.
questions.
Well,
Yeah,
remember, the whole idea of coaching is for growth. It's not just about improving performance.
right.
And, it's really about helping people tap into their full potential. And then
Yes,
you're just
it is.
guiding them through both their personal and professional development. We're developing one another together. So that's what I like about this grow model. It just keeps us focused on growing.
It does. And I love that. Again, that full potential. So
Hmm.
whether you're using the grow model, use it to focus on strengths, look for the opportunity, coach in the moment, because every conversation is going to spark growth and connection. And so I want to thank you for joining us today on this episode of Lead with Impact. And if you found these coaching strategies helpful, be sure to share this podcast with your friends, fellow leaders. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss an episode. And until next time, keep leading with impact. Now, Dr. Guy, as always, I'm going to ask you for your final leadership tip for the day.
Okay. Well, I think what we have summarized is leadership is about helping people become the best version of themselves. If you can coach, guide, and empower those people that are around you in any arena of your life, then you create a team of leaders. It's not just the leader and the followers. We have a team of leaders and people who are inspired, people who are confident, and then everyone is fully aligned within the mission and keeping the mission in focus. So until next time,